There is a big likelihood that in a week's time that Labour is going to be forming the next government.
Yeah.
And part of that is going to be forming and shaping the foreign policy of the UK and its foreign policy positions immediately on the war that is still ongoing in Gaza. What position should they take a week from now? What should they be saying publicly?
I think they need to be looking at, first of all, they really need to be, I want immediate recognition, right? That's what I want.
Of a state of Palestine?
Yes, of state of Palestine. I want immediate recognition of a state of Palestine, because you cannot negotiate with an occupier and a people that is occupied. You have to have equity. You have to have two equal players at the table, right? You can't. It's like me trying to negotiate my child's bedtime. It's not going to happen. My child's going to say, well, you know, my child isn't going to win. And this
there's
is that
power imbalance.
there's a power imbalance, right? And that is a very, very soft example of power imbalance. And here you have a people of millions in the world's largest open-air prison. You have 37,000 already killed, thousands missing, presumed dead. Right? We don't even know what the death scale, the toll is right now. That is the truth. We've got Al Jazeera being stopped. We've had, you know, and I said this in Parliament, what would we do if our ambulances, and this is before October the 7th, what would we be doing if our ambulances were being stopped, if we're taking people? You know, that's the reality on the ground. So the comparator to me is the power imbalance isn't just a power imbalance, it's an extreme power imbalance. It's an illegal occupation of a people and a land. Until you give those people and that they have that recognition and come to the table, you cannot not have that. And I said this about the Abraham Accords as well. At that time, I said, how can you have an idea of the Abraham Accords without the Palestinians at the table? You know, I can't understand. No, it doesn't make sense to me. And I've had that conversation in the UAE with the foreign minister, and I've spoken about this, right? So that's my responsibility, is making sure that I get that on the table. Now, for me, recognition is one, but there's also the issue of arms. The arms, we need to see that legal advice immediately. Because if the ICC is issuing arrest warrants, it's only going to, if we, as a signatory to that, you know, the Rome Statute, we need to see that legal advice, and we need to be stopping arms sales. That's what we need to be doing. You know, we can't be continuing to supply Israel with arms if there are human rights, well, we know there are human rights violations. We know there are war crimes being committed. There's no, yes, it's not for me to make a judgment as a politician, but it's pretty common, it's pretty clear, isn't it, what's happening? It's pretty clear. You know, you've got to call a spade a spade. So what do we do? Where do we go with that? So I want to see immediately, because that is not an issue that is just confined to the Middle East. It affects global politics. It affects people here. It affects everybody. So the idea that it's happening so far away and it doesn't matter to us it's not true. It is absolutely not true. So we need to bring it back. And that's what Keir needs to do when he's in government. Whoever the next foreign secretary needs to be looking at that legal advice. That's the second thing. Well, actually, maybe in the first thing, to stop the ceasefire. You know, whichever way. But they are of equal importance to me. And then it's about, what about the next day?
Yeah.
What does the next day look like for Gaza? What does the next day look like for humanitarian aid? I've spoken about it again. I spoke about it when you've got twins that are 8 months old. They should be weighing 8 kgs. They weigh less than a newborn baby because of malnutrition. You know, the famine there is very, very real. So these are the kind of things that I really, really want us to be looking at immediately in government. Absolutely.
So those actionable steps, immediate recognition of a state of Palestine and immediate arms embargo on Israel, on arms sales from the UK to Israel. Now, those two positions are not currently the official positions of the Labour Party.
No, they're not. And that's what I will be lobbying for. I will be going back, and I will be saying those positions.
And I'm sure that you're speaking to a lot of voters that are asking you, that are upset. You know, you said that a lot of them feel betrayed by the party, the position that it's taken, and they want those two steps to happen as well. How are you convincing them if they're coming to you and saying, well, we're not going to vote for Labour anymore because they're not doing what we want to see happen? What position we want this party that is going to form a government to take? If they are not taking this position now, how do we know that they're going to take this position in the future, 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, maybe ever?
So there is no guarantees, but there is much more of a higher chance with me advocating for it than somebody on the opposition backbenches. That's the ultimate litmus test. The ultimate litmus test is, can you ignore your own backbenchers, which would include me, and the Labour Friends of Palestine, when we have a coalition of MPs making that case, making a case for this is what we want to see, to an independent sat with the Tories on those benches? That is the question we have to ask ourselves. And for my constituents, that's the argument I make. My constituents are not stupid. They may be as angry and angrier. They may be pained. They may be, all of those feelings, really, really emotional feelings, and rightfully so, because I share those emotional feelings. But they are not stupid, and they understand what it takes to be able to have that strong voice. And the one thing that nobody has said to me is that you haven't done the right thing. Nobody has said to me on the doorstep that you have not called for us. There was misunderstanding, because one of my opponents went in a mosque and said, oh, she didn't call for a ceasefire. And then he said, oh, well, she didn't sign the EDM. Well, at the time, I was a shadow minister. I didn't sign the EDM. What does, politically speaking, do I want to sign an EDM? Is that the hill I want to die on, so to speak, and give up my position on the front bench? Or would I rather do it for a vote, which actually means something? And I chose to wait for the vote the next week because I knew it was coming. So I didn't sign the EDM. But does that make my voice any less powerful? No, it doesn't. If anything, it made it more powerful. So there are mechanisms that we can use as influence. And if there's a group of us together asking for our leadership to meet with us, for us to lobby and to put our case forward, there's a higher chance of things happening, isn't there? And that's what I say to my constituents. So yesterday it was really interesting. I got one guy who said, I love you, Naz, but I can't. And his father was like, I'm voting for you. And the son was like, I'm not, because it's just Labour, it's Labour. And I said, look, you need a strong voice. Send me back as a strong voice. The bigger the mandate you give me, the stronger voice I become, right? And he said, well, 99% there. And I said, look, I'll come back for the 1%, So and I'm having those conversations when people get the chance to understand that, and when I get the chance to ask them and talk to them, that's where they come at. Well, that's what the result is.